The Montpelier Foundation is building a center for constitutional studies and restoring the home of James and Dolly Madison to its early 19th century form. Begun in early 2004, work on the mansion is expected to last another 2 years. The additions built after the Madison era have been removed, and workers are focusing on completing the exterior shell of the building by late April 2006. From historical investigation and deconstruction to repair and restoration, it takes a mixed group of experts, workers, and volunteers to complete the project.
There's been quite a lot of restoration of the original timber frame, because when the DuPonts made over the house in 1901, they built large additions, and now that those additions have been removed, we've had to rebuild the cornice around the building and add on to the floor beams and the roof beams.
Carpenter Scott McBride says workers are removing the old metal roof and wood sheathing to install wood strips that support a cypress shingle roof.
This is the D window in the tympanum. The tympanum is this flat triangle that you see, and there's a beautiful multi-light sash that will fit in that D window, and that will have to be restored. You can see it has these very deep, rich, beautiful bed moldings and frieze moldings. That's original. It has to be repaired. We do what we call Dutchman, which is a small piece of wood that's excavated and glued and nailed in place, and then the painters finish it over.
The wings of Montpelier have accordion roofs, Thomas Jefferson's solution for flat roofs.
And these ridges had wooden shingles which drained into a gutter timber that ran out to the edge of the roof. It was a way of creating a flat roof at a time when there really weren't good materials for having a flat roof. It's all virgin heart pine. The wood in these timbers would typically be remilled into flooring or very high dollar cabinet material, but because the original timbers at Montpelier were heart pine, we had to use heart pine. So you've got many thousands of dollars worth of heart pine just in this ceiling alone.
One of the most architecturally investigated homes in the United States, its rooms will return to the form the Madisons knew in the 1820s, including a growing collection of original art and furnishings. Architectural historian Maggie Wilson says they're using nail holes as a guide to the room's layout.
This is the only room that has original Madison plaster left. We thought we were going to have more in the house, but we didn't. So, but it had a top coat, the finish coat, the very thin finish coat was gypsum, so we knew it had been added later. But underneath that, this is the Madison plaster. So we thought if we very carefully took the gypsum off, we might find nail holes where they hung pictures.
President James Madison now, when he's returning from Washington with his wife Dolly, and he wants to have his home in his post-presidential years reflect a lifetime of statesmanship and nation building. And so in this room, much enlarged from the original two rooms, he would entertain and receive guests who would come by the hundreds to visit the sage of Montpelier and the fourth president of the United States. And here they would be received. This would be a room that would be filled with artwork on the walls, pictures of people who the Madisons admired, pictures of people from history who were important. It would be very, very lovingly decorated. There would be chairs and tables for people to sit and recline. And it would be a room that would truly reflect the Madisons' prestige over their lifetime.
Vice President for Development Joseph Taylor says on the second floor there's a small room of no small consequence.
This is the area of the house where Madison, as a fairly young man in his 30s, came in the months before the Constitutional Convention of 1787. And in this area of the house was the library, his father's library, where he studied very intensely ancient and modern confederacies and governments, why some succeeded, why some failed, why some succeeded for a time and then failed. And it was in this room where Madison came up with the idea for a new constitution, the Constitution of the United States, because the Articles of Confederation just weren't working. In the words of one scholar, it was in this area where Madison thought more deeply and with greater effect about government than had anyone in history. Out of this room came the framework that became the Virginia Plan, that became the basis for the U.S. Constitution. You might call this area the cradle of the Constitution.